Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Wins. We are along Ryouma Sakamoto's route, and we are trying to save his life at the moment, running across the rooftops with him. Join us for this chase. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. We're going to pass this way?
Can't be helped. This is our only choice. Blame those bozos back there if you want to complain.
But...
Damn that Sakamoto! Where did he go? Hey, look! There's people on top the roof! Don't tell me that's...
Gah! There were voices coming from everywhere. How are we supposed to escape from here? If we jump from this height, there's no question we'll be hurt. I'll probably be fine, but Sakamoto is...
I'm fine. No matter what happens, I'll protect you. Trust me.
His voice was confident. This made me wonder. How could a man be so confident even at a time like this? It was as if his body was invincible. Listening to him speak confidently made me feel safe, and that if I stayed with him, nothing would happen to us, no matter what. Got it, I'll go. Just then...
Give it up, Sakamoto. Putting up a fight won't get you anywhere. Ugh, can't you give it a rest? A beautiful woman hunting after me is one thing, but it's a real sight for sore eyes when it's a man doing it.
Oh, they totally used that expression incorrectly. I saw that Sakamoto was giving me a window to duck down as he distracted the officials. Just then...
Yukimura, this way!
I heard Yamazaki from under the roof. Yamazaki! I felt so relieved to hear a familiar voice, and with his help we were able to get down.
I'll take care of them. Take Sakamoto and get away from here. If you take the back alleys that way, you should be able to get out without getting caught.
Thank you so much, Yamazaki. Let's go, Sakamoto. Just a little bit more. I looked behind me. Sakamoto looked like he was in pain. Sakamoto? What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. Let's skedaddle before they catch up.
I really hope it's nothing. Sakamoto and I rushed through the dimly lit back alleys, but as we were leaving the Tarada, I could hear his footsteps becoming heavier with each step. Don't tell me he got shot. Could this be... Sakamoto, are you hurt?
Save the talk. We gotta get out of here as soon as possible.
He was right. Although we narrowly dodged what could have been a serious situation, we weren't 100% safe. I put my arm around Sakamoto's shoulder to help. Where shall we run to?
The Fushimi Mansion, owned by the Satsuma. The shogunate won't follow us there.
Alright. For now, I must focus on getting Sakamoto to a safe place. I prayed we wouldn't bump into any magistrate or Mimawari Gumi people, and I continued to carefully walk along the alleyway. We were passing a wooden shack when... Sakamoto coughed out of pain, and he fell to his knees. Sakamoto, hang in there! So, you were... injured? Despite grimacing in pain, he forced a half smile.
They'll never want a woman looking at me in this state, but... I'm really pushing it. Doesn't look like I can walk much further.
No! His face grew paler, covered in cold sweat.
At this rate, you too will be captured. I'll duck out into that shack and get out of view, so you can continue running, get him off the scent.
Sakamoto held a hand over his torso to cover the wound and attempted limping to the shack. I rushed to stop him. Wait! What are you going to do if they find you hiding in here? If that happens, that could be the last time I ever see him. If they were to capture him, I don't think I could ever forgive myself.
I'll be fine. I'm pretty lucky.
I can't trust you to look.
Besides, big things are written in the stars for me. A leading man doesn't die like this.
That's even more of a reason to get you treatment. I'm a doctor's daughter. I can treat sword wounds. However, Sakamoto refused to accept. He simply smiled bitterly through the pain and stared into my eyes. There has to be a way both of us can make it. Please don't give up. We can push through. I couldn't shake the feeling of dread that was slowly building in my heart, so I grabbed his shoulders and tried to hold him back. Just then... Oh, crap. Oh! Oh. He suddenly wrapped me tightly in his arms, and I felt something warm press against my forehead. It took me a moment to realize they were Sakamoto's lips. Why was he doing this? Why would Sakamoto do this to me? In the moment, all these questions began to melt away. As he held me closely against his breast, my heart began to dance rapidly in my chest. I couldn't speak. Thoughts drifted away, and soon all I could feel were his soft, full lips tenderly resting against me. Eventually, he lifted his lips from my forehead and whispered gently against my ear.
They say in the West that this is custom when a man and a woman part. Personally, I prefer your lips, but let's save it for when we meet next, eh?
I stood in a daze, and Sakamoto's words seemed to swirl as they entered my ear. Just as I was staring into the twinkle of his moonlit eyes, he pushed me away and closed the door of the wooden shack. You bastard! My senses returned, and I rushed to grab the door. Sakamoto, please! Open the door! If any enemies are near, you're going to draw them over. I pounded the door over and over until my fists began to bleed. I tried opening the door with all of my strength. I guess he got a stick with which to lock it. It was impossible to open. At this rate, he'll never make it. I should go call for help. I want to treat him immediately, but as long as Sakamoto has no plans of opening up the door, it'd be a waste of time for me to stay here. Yeah, I'm not getting anywhere with this door here. Sakamoto, I'll be right back. Hang on until then. I screamed this from the other side of the door, and I ran toward the center of Fushimi. The Fushimi Satsuma residence should be this building. Excuse me, is anyone here? I screamed out for someone, but the gate was closed shut, and it didn't look like anyone was coming out anytime soon. Please, if someone's in there, please come out. Please, someone might die. Someone, please. After I screamed a few more times, I saw someone approaching the gate. Oh, the perfect person.
I thought I heard a girl's voice. Saw it was you. What do you want?
Nakauka! He glared at me suspiciously, and his fierceness intimidated me, but I needed to tell him. Sakamoto is hurt. The magistrate and the Mimawari-gumi are about to capture him. Please, save him!
What?
You heard me.
Where's Sakamoto? Show me the way.
It's this way. Nakauka followed me back to the shack, but then Sakamoto opened the door without hesitation this time.
Nakauka, you've come. I was preparing to say later this time. What are you talking about? Can't afford to lose you just yet.
After they briefly spoke, Nakauka looked toward me with a gruff expression. Do you trust me yet?
I just followed that girl. Go thank her.
Oh, no, Just as I was about to say it wasn't me he should thank, Sakamoto simply smiled at me. Can't I have you both?
Thanks, Chizuru. Because of you, I just might make it.
Sakamoto's words of gratitude made me blush. I hid my face. Please, be sure to treat yourself. If your wound becomes infected, it'll cost you your life.
Don't worry about him. No matter how much he cries, I'll get him treated. Jeez, what a scary thought. Should've left me to die.
Sakamoto was in a joking mood, but Nakauka turned around to face me with a menacing look. Come on, I did you a favor. Why are you still menacing me?
If people were to catch sight of us together, it wouldn't end well for you. It's time for us to say our goodbyes.
Okay, please take care of Sakamoto. So he's basically just like the epitome of tsundere. He shows his love with his gruffness.
I know. Come on, Sakamoto, grab my shoulders. I want to thank you for saving Sakamoto, so thanks.
No problem. I had my own motives in this as well. No problem.
Well, later, Chizuru. Next time we have a rendezvous, how about a place where no one gets in the way, eh?
What are you saying? Sakamoto chuckled in response, and then he motioned for Nakauka to help him walk off. Then they disappeared into the darkness. Even after I couldn't make them out in the distance, I wasn't able to bring myself to leave, so I just stood there, soaking in all that had just transpired. It's cold. I shivered there, alone in the chilly night air. Shouldn't I go find the Shinsen... There we go.
Yukimura, there you are.
Oh, Yamazaki, and everyone else too.
It appears as though you've emerged unharmed. I do not see Sakamoto nearby, however. Has something happened to him?
His friend came to pick him up, and he's now safe in the Satsuma residence.
What? There goes any credit going to us.
Well, things didn't quite go as planned, but we didn't do anything to upset the Aizu or the Count. So in all, good work.
Yeah, saved ourselves some trouble.
Yukimura, you did your part well.
Oh no, please. I wouldn't have been able to do this by myself.
Yup, she makes a good point. I mean, did you see my wonderful performance that captivated the lookout's attention?
Wonderful performance, my ass. You were just being the same drunk buffoon as you were when you got wasted in Shimabara.
Okay, men, let's round up and head back now. It doesn't need to be said, but keep shut about tonight, got it?
Yeah, we know.
Maybe it was because everyone was able to get involved, but everyone was so upbeat. Well, it was very lively and fun, and nobody got hurt. It was a great mission. Well, Sakamoto got a little bit hurt. With Sakamoto's controversial position with the Shinsengumi, and how everyone wanted a piece of him, it was difficult to think about how to feel. But even then... The warmth from the touch of Sakamoto's lips on my forehead still lingered, trickling down my face.
And they say in the West that this is custom when a man and woman part. Personally, I prefer your lips, but let's save it for when we meet next, eh?
Why did Sakamoto do that? Was it so he could push me away? Was that all?
Hey, Chizuru, what's the matter? You're spacing out.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's nothing.
Are you sure? Don't tell me. It has something to do with Sakamoto. What's with the funny face? You're blushing. Wait, did he?
No, nothing happened.
You should watch out. There are a bunch of imperialists who've been known to use women as messengers to extract or remove information.
Really? Then maybe what happened earlier was just to lower my guard and use me to get information on the Shinsengumi? Only Sakamoto would know, but my heart sank just thinking about such a thing. I watched above as the moon was veiled behind a gray patch of clouds, shining in sconces. A month had passed, and the winds brought with them the scents and sights of a new spring. I was cleaning the compounds as usual when I sensed the familiar profile approaching me. That's... Hey, what are you doing here? Nakauka, what brings you here?
Don't make a scene. If anyone from the Shinsengumi finds him here, it won't be pretty.
You should have expected that if you walked in the front door like this. Oh. After Nakauka gave his warning, I put my hands over my mouth. Maybe it was because he was suspicious of the Shinsengumi, but he wasn't speaking in his usual Tosa accent. He slipped his hand into one of his sleeves, and from it he pulled a letter he handed to me. Ah, so you're the messenger.
This is a letter from Sakamoto. He told me to deliver this to you.
Is it a love letter? Sakamoto? How is he? Is his injury better now?
He's better. Too much so. He's had too much energy. Kinda hard to suppress. I read his letter to see. I told him if he wanted to send a letter, he'd be better off asking a messenger to bring it, but... he really insisted on someone handing it over to you personally. And he wouldn't shut up about it. He really played his injury card a little heavily.
I see. The image of him exaggerating his injury and getting Nakauka to bring the letter made me smile.
Well, I'll be on my way now. If anyone asks, I did indeed hand it to you.
Yes, thank you. Please send my regards to Sakamoto. Nakauka bowed curtly and swiftly turned around to leave. Soon after, I quickly opened the letter that he just handed to me.
Yo, Chizuru. How are you doing? I survived that night with your help. Thank you. Writing this as I soak in a hot spring to cure my ails and recuperate, but, to tell you the truth, I'm real torn up right about now. Why, you ask? Way out west, a couple who just got hitched takes a trip to celebrate their marriage with one another. Should have brought you here with me. It'll be one of the biggest regrets of my whole life.
Oh.
Anywho, I'm sure you're worked up without me by your side, but keep your head up, you hear?
Again, no low self-esteem problems with him. What is Sakamoto saying? I wasn't sure whether or not he really meant what he wrote in his letter, and it infuriated me. The fact that he could write this letter in good humor shows he's at least in good spirits and doing well. But for a newly married couple to go on a trip together, suggesting he would take me out in such a way. No, I'm sure it was just his attempt at being charming. Above everything, I'm just glad to hear he's okay. I slipped the letter, which faintly smelled of his scent, into my sleeves, and I resumed my cleaning. That was such a cute little letter, though. October 1866. Now we can skip some. And here's some new material already. The summer's muggy heat soon slipped away as the footsteps of autumn approached us. Phew! I was in the middle of wiping the Great Hall's floor. The size of the room made just wiping the floors an arduous task. But still, knowing the warriors could focus on their work and not worry about the cleanliness of the compounds made the whole effort worth it. As these thoughts drifted through my mind.
Oh, Yukimura, there you are.
Oh, hello, Inoue. Can I help you with something?
A letter has arrived for you. I just came by to give it to you.
With that said, Inoue pulled a letter from the sleeve of his kimono.
Here you go. That is all. Goodbye.
Thank you. I wonder from whom it could be. I inspected the parchment, and I checked the sender's name, which only said Ume. Oh goodness, Ume. Could it be? Thinking back all the way to when I first met Sakamoto, he'd call himself Umetaro Saitani. Yeah, that's what I was figuring that was about. I could sense my heart beating at a quickening pace as I peeled open the letter.
Oi, Chizuru. Hanging in there? Bet you're dreaming of me every night in your sleep.
Oh, this man.
Feeling pretty good over here. Wounds healed well. I'm out and about in Kyoto on business, but I was hoping to see you. Can we make it happen? I got some news on your father.
What? How? News on my father? It had been nearly 3 years now since I'd come to Kyoto, but no real leads have emerged. I wanted to leave and meet with Sakamoto immediately, but I know I must speak with Hijikata first. I had decided to rush to his office immediately. Please, Hijikata, please!
I see. That bastard's got some information on Kodo, huh?
It is too soon to tell. It may be a trap to draw Yukimura into the open.
That's true, very likely. You can't let your guard down with that man. If possible, I'd like you to get some information in return on the Satsuma Choshu, but I know he's not going to come easy with that. It's fine. You may visit Sakamoto, hear whatever he has to say about Kodo.
Thank you so much. You're not going to send an escort with me? I appreciated Hijikata's gesture so much. I bowed so deeply my head could have hit the floor. Kondo didn't respond, instead caught in what looked like concern.
What with the whole incident at the Tarada not too long ago, I'm wary about sending you to Sakamoto, but if there's a chance that Kodo's whereabouts could be uncovered, I couldn't say no to that. Overall, I apologize for asking you to carry out these duties for us, Yukimura.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I mean, this is what I wanted. It's all what I came to Kyoto for. It's happening.
Hearing you say that makes me feel better. Don't worry, I'll be sure to have you surrounded by captains.
Okay, so we are having an escort.
If Sakamoto tries to pull something funny with you, we'll kill him on the spot.
What? I didn't want there to be any conflict between Sakamoto and the Shinsengumi. Being able to reunite with Sakamoto alone was good enough for everything to be worth it for me. Shortly after the meeting, I wrote back to Sakamoto. A few days had passed. We couldn't meet him right away. I had arrived at the tea shop where Sakamoto had arranged for us to meet. If I was correct, it was the same place where he and I met for the first time. To be honest, I didn't feel like it at all, but it had been over 2 years since we first made our acquaintance. How surreal for time to pass so quickly. And for us to see each other so few times over 2 years.
Chizuru, hope I didn't keep you waiting.
Oh, Sakamoto, long time no see. How are your wounds? Any complications?
Nope, fit as a fiddle. Seriously, wouldn't have made it without you. Thank you.
Oh, don't worry about it. At the time, I was so desperate to get Sakamoto to safety, and treating him was all I could think of. I was just so glad to see him upbeat and smiling like he was before me.
How about a walk, huh? I haven't been to Kyoto in a while, so I'd like to walk, see the sights.
Okay, why not? Make the captains all walk too. Sakamoto looked into the distance as the mountain range was covered in the hues of autumnal warmth.
If you're going to see Kyoto, gotta do it in fall. Summer and winter, especially the winter, are what I'd call an ordeal.
Oh, well, it's not so bad. The cold is a little rough, so...
I'm a southern boy. To me, a winter in Kyoto is as good as living inside an igloo.
The way he put me at ease when he spoke reminded me of the Sakamoto I'd come to adore. I remember the Shinsengumi men listing all of the things they didn't like about Sakamoto. Like how he was purchasing arms from foreign countries and selling them around. I'd also heard rumors about his involvement with the Satsuma and Choshu. Could they really be true? Or were they just that, rumors? After descending the mountain path for a while, Sakamoto suddenly stopped in his tracks.
Okay, enough chit-chat. Let's get to business.
You mean you didn't just want to see me?
Your father, Koda Yukimura, yeah?
Yes. I waited nervously for Sakamoto to continue.
I know where he is. This comes from a very reliable source.
Really? Where is he?
According to my little bird, he's been out west with a foreign merchant.
A foreign merchant? Do you know whom?
Huh. You see, that's the thing. I have a lot of info, and it's not all for you to know. But all I know for sure is he's somewhere out west and he's doing all right.
Ah. So I get to know he's okay, but I don't get to actually see him. I couldn't help but be a little despondent. I thought I could finally reunite with my father.
Aw, geez. I got your hopes up, didn't I?
Oh, no. I rushed to look up and I shook my head. It's good enough knowing he's safe. Thank you for notifying me. Although I knew I wouldn't be able to reunite with my father immediately, I just knew he was alive somewhere, safe and sound. That's something to be happy about.
Well, you're both alive. I bet once all your ducks are lined up, you'll see him again.
As he cheered me up, he started to walk again. I rushed to follow. I remember this place. As we continued down the path, eventually, we ended up near the wooden shack where I'd split up with Sakamoto during the Tarada incident. Are we taking a stroll down memory lane or what?
About what happened earlier. You can tell all those Shinsengumi boys what I told you if you want. I'm sure they want you to tell them something, right?
Well, I don't think that's the case. I mean, they let me come to meet you today.
Yeah, but if you keep coming back empty-handed, they won't let you keep seeing me. Surely they're probably worried you're going to tell me something accidentally, huh?
Well, it's true. Most of the captains weren't fond of Sakamoto. So if he doesn't give us any information on our enemies, they may not let me see him again.
Well, why don't we throw him a bone then?
Sakamoto was right in that they'd stop us from seeing each other, but false leads were bad. How should I respond? Do you think so? You think so?
Sure of it. Or are you okay with never seeing me again?
It's not like that.
I'd like to see you anytime I want to like this. How about you?
Sakamoto was so direct, and I didn't expect him to come out with that like he did. When he looked at me straight in the eye, it was as if he warmed my cheeks with a lantern beside my face.
You can't weasel out of this one. Give me an answer. Which is it?
His tone became increasingly demanding, so I couldn't answer him under the pressure. Well, it's not as if I don't want to see you anymore. He seemed a little taken aback by my answer. Is he still is this the point where like he's still trying to use me some, but he's starting to fall for me in reality a little at this point?
So, it's not as if I don't want to see you anymore, huh? Wish you could just come out with it and say, I want to see you. Whatever. I'm sure we'll cross paths again. I'll make you say it then.
Make me say what? Exactly what he said, that you want to see him. It was so vexing for him to tease me like this over and over again, and he knew he could control me. Even still, it was comforting to have a totally different kind of relationship with someone who wasn't one of the Shinsengumi. I noticed, though, that I was enjoying it. I wonder what made me feel this way. Then, he muttered to himself as if he realized something.
Come to think of it, Chizuru, do you remember?
Remember what?
When I kissed you here, I said the next time it wouldn't be your forehead, it would be your lip.
No! I backed away from Sakamoto to prevent myself from being swept away with the current.
Why not? I told you in the West, when lovers part, it's customary to bid each other farewell like this.
This is Japan, and we're not lovers yet. Let's go. If we take too long, the sun will go down. I didn't know what to do with myself, so I sped down the mountain path.
Guess it'll be a while before we can talk like adults.
Finally, we had walked close to the Satsuma mansion in Fushimi. Whenever I spend time with Sakamoto, time seems to slip through our fingers. Every time I say goodbye, I feel something pulling me, but today it felt especially strong.
Man, goodbyes are terrible, but I had a lot of fun, Chizuru.
I want to move out of the Shinsengumi and move in with you.
Walking together with you is a treat.
Sakamoto said so without any hint of ill will. Can I ask you one thing?
Sure, what is it?
I needed courage to ask him this. It was something I needed to know, but could never ask him. Are you cooperating with Satsuma and Choshu, and also buying weapons from foreign countries? Sakamoto's eyes widened, but his expression wasn't surprised. He smiled sincerely. Without showing any agitation, he gave me an answer lightly.
Yes, I am.
Why would you do such a thing? That's something that could brand you as an enemy of the Shinsengumi. Those weapons you bought could be used to kill people, actual people. Sakamoto turned to face the darkening sky, thinking deeply to himself.
Beyond the wide open sea, there's a country called Russia. Heard of it?
Huh? I wasn't sure where he was going with this question.
If Great Britain's king of the ocean, then Russia's king of the earth. Twice the size of Japan. We're talking about a monolith of a country.
Russia's way, way more than twice the size of Japan.
North of Nagasaki is an island called Tsushima. 5 years ago, Russia barged in, took it over, and made it their own island. Both the feudal lord Taima and the shogunate objected to this action, but Russia said that Western countries refused to listen to smaller nations.
So, what happened?
A shogunate official went crying to Great Britain, and they used a black ship to drive the Russians out. We were finally able to settle in. But if Great Britain were to be the one to occupy Tsushima, then we're done for. If the Satsuma and Choshu were to be defeated, the shogunate would become the helmsman.
All the things Sakamoto had been saying were things I had never heard about. Honestly, I couldn't wrap my brain around them. But this was 5 years ago, right? Wouldn't the shogunate be able to make changes even a little bit by now?
Could also say 5 years have passed, and nothing's changed. If I were in Great Britain's or Russia's shoes, no chance I would give Japan enough time to become stronger.
So, are you saying that whatever the Tokugawa clan can't do, the Choshu and Satsuma can? There's no way I could bring myself to believe that. I mean, of course there was a possibility for things to improve under them, but isn't there also the same chance of things becoming even worse than before? However...
No. If there wasn't a Tokugawa shogunate, it doesn't mean the Mori shogunate or the Shimazu shogunate couldn't do it.
Huh? Suddenly, Sakamoto shook away his eerie vibe.
Just kidding. Gotta run. Be careful on your way back, you hear?
Man, he is a quick change.
No, actually, had the men guarding this area take you home. We'll meet again.
After Sakamoto patted my head lightly, he walked into the domain residence. If there wasn't a Tokugawa shogunate, it doesn't mean the Mori shogunate or the Shimazu shogunate could do it. I wonder what Sakamoto was thinking. What kind of world is he trying to build? That night, I told Hijikata and the captains what Sakamoto had told me. Intriguing. So, Kyoto was in the west.
I wonder if we can trust his information. Well, I'm sure there's no reason for him to lie. West, huh? No wonder we couldn't find him.
Well, the west is pretty vague, so that's a weak lead. Yukimura, were you able to get any information out of him? Well, not really. We're not asking you to be a spy. However, if Sakamoto ever sends you another letter, please accommodate our concerns. And casually ask him some questions. Do you hear me? Technically, he was asking me, but Sanen's words possessed a sense of force behind them, as if he's obligating me to comply. I don't think I could ever do something like extract information from Sakamoto. However, I probably would be able to do something like today, where I'd get enough to satisfy everyone. Understood. Today, Sakamoto and I shared a secret with each other. I can't say I didn't feel guilty about it, but I'm able to continue meeting Sakamoto and speaking with him. For some reason, I couldn't help but feel giddy, and I left the common room after bowing to the men. Alright, and there we're gonna leave off for the next episode. Phew! Yep, definitely liking how things are coming along with him. It looks like we still got plenty more to go. Yeah, I'm much happier knowing that there's much more material for the 3 brand new guys. Now this game has a lot more worth for me, even though we still don't have the second half. Well, hope to see you in that next episode to continue on with things. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.